Imagine fighting for the country, being a military veteran, being in two wars, serving the country proudly, becoming a doctor, buying a house, and you're not welcome in the neighborhood, all because the color of your skin. We're about to get into the story of Dr. Terry right now. So we have this doctor, Charles Terry, and he's a black guy. He's a doctor. He did everything he was supposed to do, and he bought a house in the neighborhood of Bixby Knolls, and his house got vandalized before he moved into the house. They ripped up the carpet, they put bleach all over the place, and they ran a water hose and they flooded out his house. And they were like, he's not welcome in this white neighborhood. And Bixby Knolls was all white at the time, and back in 1958. And we're talking about the city of Long Beach. And you would think, oh, we're on the West Coast, this is Long Beach. It was the same thing, just like the South. We had racial segregation in this city, and it was the same thing. So it was the same thing here. So he moved into the white neighborhood, Bixby Knolls, and they vandalized his house. And he did everything you're supposed to do. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So he went to school. He got his education. He served in two wars. He was a military veteran. And he was a successful doctor in Long Beach. And he lived what we call it the East Side in Central Long Beach, and it was a black neighborhood. But you're a doctor, and the neighborhood is crowded, and the houses are from the 1920s, and everything is smaller and compact and overcrowded. So you wanted to move into the newer part of town with some newer houses because you're a successful doctor. So the house he moved into on Cerritos, and it's off of it's off of Orange and Carson Street. His house on Cerritos was built in 1947, 48, and the house was a modern house, and it's real big. The house is still there. So we got this doctor being a successful doctor buying a house, and they're like, we don't want your ass here because you're black. So the race card was played again. They keep playing the race card back in the day, and actually formed a coalition. The neighborhood residents, and they hired a realtor, and they wanted to buy the guy out of his property. So they were like, we're gonna buy this property for you. They tried to offer him more money than what he bought it for. So they said, at a profit, we will. They were like, at a profit, we will buy that house from you. At a profit. So we'll give you more than what you pay for. They were doing everything they could to keep this guy out his neighborhood, out of his home, out of that neighborhood. And the thing is, the doctor, he was like, I'm not trying to be no crusader, or I'm not trying to be a activist or anything. I just want to buy a house over here. So he was like, he's basically saying, I don't want to be a civil rights leader. I'm not trying to break the color line. I'm just a man who want to buy a house in this neighborhood. That's all. That's all I want to do. So looking at this picture right here, it says Dr. Charles Terry, 37, and his wife Ruby examined sections of wall-to-wall carpeting cut by vandals before the before a pair moved into their new home at 4240 Cerritos Avenue this morning. The entire second floor of the home was flooded, so they went upstairs with a water hose and flooded the property. They went upstairs and ran a damn water hose, and it says the water seeped down to ruin the wallpaper. So they even damaged the wallpaper. Bleach, note stains on the rug was liberally used throughout. The damage was estimated at excess of $7,500. And keep in mind, $7,500 is a lot of money back then, back in 1958. So the value of $7,500 in 1958 in 2025, it would have been $83,000. So $83,000 in today's money, it would be $83,000. So imagine buying a house today, and before you moved in, someone caused $83,000 in damage. That's crazy. You have to spend $83,000 more to fix the damage. That was a lot of damage. And he did not move. He said he's not moving. And he said he's not selling out. So Ray Wiley was an inactive real estate broker. They used him to be the liaison to talk to Dr. Terry to buy the house back from him. And he said he felt bad. He said, I'm thoroughly disgusted and ashamed that he has to be the go between of the people of the neighborhood and the doctor. So even the real estate guy was like, it's kind of messed up what they doing to him. And he said, I look like a bad guy because they got me. They got me try to get this house from this black dude, and all he want to do is live there. So even the real estate guy was like, damn, it's messed up what they did to him. So like I said earlier, Dr. Terry, he was like, there has been such a misunderstanding, Dr. Terry said. The people who object to our moving in are under the impression that we are backed by an organization in order to break the color line in this neighborhood. And he said it's not true. And then Miss Terry, Ruby Terry, was like that they bought the house through one person. It was an individual negotiation. And he was like, she said, we're not crusaders. It's more important for us to find a home for the kids. We've been trying for 2 years. So they've been looking for a house for 2 years. They finally got one. So they said the real estate guy was like, you know what? All the immediate homeowners, all the neighbors around the house, they put their money together to try to buy the house from him. And the real estate guy said Dr. Terry said he paid between $40,000 and $50,000 for the house from the former owner. And the former owner was Jack Ferguson. He owned the gas station, but he moved to Lake Tahoe. So they bought it from a white guy named Jack Ferguson, and he moved. So they said Ferguson was quite frightened after he completed the deal. The physician said he told us that the neighbors had threatened to picket his businesses. They said that his neighbors had threatened to picket his businesses. The discouraged couple said they plan on to move in as soon as possible. So the gas station owner who sold them the house, the businessman, he was like, they threatened me. They threatened to picket my businesses and everything because they found out he sold the house to a black dude. So they was mad at the guy. They was mad at the fellow white guy. The discouraged of the couple. Let me see. Hold on real quick. So they lived, they bought a house on Myrtle and Anaheim Street in Long Beach back in 1951. And they lived at 1215 Myrtle Avenue. And the house was small. They wanted to expand their horizons. He's a doctor. He can afford it. So why not? It says in the paper, it also said, Dr. Terry said he started to practice medicine in Long Beach in 1950 after receiving his medical degree, doctorate degree from Howard University in Washington, D.C. As a captain, he served 4 years as a base flight surgeon at the Long Beach Air Force Base, and then he went back to private practice in 1955. So basically, you do everything you're supposed to do. You get your education. You serve your country. You're a military veteran. You have a family. You're a successful doctor, and you just want to move into a bigger, newer home, and your house get vandalized because the color of your skin. So checking out his old house, his old house, Dr. Terry had on Myrtle in Anaheim. It was 1,300 square feet. So he went from 1,300 square feet to 2,700 square feet. So of course, he wanted to move up and get a bigger home. 2,700 square feet versus 1,300 square feet, and this is looking at the property now online. So I'm pretty sure that his old house was smaller than 1,300 square feet. The house probably got added on to by now. So that's a big jump. That's a big jump. So the house, it was built in 1948, even though I see ads on it from 1947. So anyway, he ended up staying there for decades, and he continued to practice medicine in the city of Long Beach, and he was very very successful. And he passed away. Dr. Terry passed away in 1975, and I'm not sure if his son was a doctor. I seen his son had a business in Long Beach also. I think his name was Junior, maybe, but he had the same name. I think one of them did, but somebody had a business on the east side. But anyway, he lived and passed away in 1975, and I know the family stayed at that house into the 70s, but I can't find anything after that. But he did not leave, and they stayed there. So I wish I knew what happened after he passed away and what happened to the house. But they end up staying there for at least 20 years. So that was that. You guys take care. Stay tuned for more history. Thanks.